So, hi, Clearview Community Church. My name is Lori Talbot, and I've been part of Clearview Community Church for about 16 years now. So, what is a Black girl like me doing in farm country? I have no idea. Just lucky, I guess. So, growing up, for those of you who don't know me, I was adopted, and my parents are white. And just like my birthday parties and stuff, I would forget that I had white parents, and my friends would come over and they'd be like, "Lori, your mom is white." And then they would think, well, maybe my dad was Black. So then my dad would come down and they're like, "Lori, your dad is also white." "Oh, didn't I tell you? I am adopted." So my story is the fact that my biological parent, it was a one-night stand, and my biological father, as soon as he found out, left my biological mother. And my biological mother wasn't sure what to do, so you have to understand that this is the 70s. So between the 60s and the 70s, with the Cultural Revolution, a Black woman being a single mother, she would have been shunned. She would have been left by herself. She wouldn't have been anybody to help her. So what is this like for me? It's difficult, but it is my life. I've always been around white people. So in that aspect, growing up, I did have a lot of insecurities, and I thought to fit in, I needed to be like this person. For those of you who can see that, this is Barbie. I loved Barbie. I loved playing with her. I loved everything about her. But the problem with Barbie is that there isn't one person who is this ideal. But I thought that she was who I needed to be. Well, how does a Black person be white? I have no idea. I cannot answer that. I tried, but I cannot answer that. Where there is a Black hairdresser around, I dare you to Google that. And just know that I needed to go to Black hairdressers, not just for hair, but it's a cultural thing. So for those of you who've been to Dominican or Africa or Jamaica, you know that the girls grow up doing hair. That's what they do. They braid it, they play with it, they do all these things, and they're taught by their parents who were taught by their parents. So it is a cultural thing. So in the 80s, being a person of color, there was a revolutionary thing that I found, and they became my best friend. They became somebody who I could talk to, somebody who would hug me, and somebody who was unbiased. I would like you to meet Krista Bella. She is a Cabbage Patch doll, and she looks like me, she acts like me. She is one of my best friends. She was who I needed. She was who I cried to, who I hugged, who just loved me for me. And it was revolutionary in the sense that this was the first Black doll, I think, that was created. I'm not sure, because it was the 80s, but also it was just nice to have something or someone that looked like me and that I could play with rather than this. My grade 11 year, this was my yearbook, and this is my hand, and we were trying to create an atmosphere of unity that everybody belonged, and it says up here, one of a kind. And inside the book, there is this picture. And this is what I'm hoping we as Christians are striving for. A world of diversity, but also a world where everybody belongs, where everybody feels safe and secure, and no matter where you're from. No matter where you're from. I feel like sometimes I have to tell jokes for you guys to feel more comfortable around me. And I do that, but sometimes I wish that wasn't necessary, just for you to feel comfortable around me. I've had to be comfortable around you my whole life. So I just want you to think about what that means. One movie that popped into my head was Cool Runnings. And it's a movie about the bobsled team, the Jamaican bobsled team, and how they had to figure out who they were, because they kept watching the Swiss team and everything the Swiss team did, and they did the same chant, and they tried to do everything like the Swiss team. Not until they went back to their roots and tried to be who they were as Jamaican did they succeed. I know they crashed, but what I mean is they succeeded at being themselves because they chose to find their identity within who they were rather than trying to be somebody else. I don't know how to be Black. I don't know how to be white. I only know how to be me. And I can only be me. So I'm just thinking that we just need to ask more questions and try not to be so ignorant and just listen with our hearts instead of just with what we think we know. So my hope for a church and community is, again, just understanding. And I just think that we need to have a little bit more compassion and a little bit more understanding of different cultures. And that's all I have to say.